This one's wild. I almost just lost my life savings. If you have an account with Robinhood, beware if you get an email reporting suspicious activity on your account, a login attempt from a weird IP address. Mine said it was Rock River, Ohio. I've never been to Ohio. So let me set the scene for you. It's Sunday night, so I get home. I get off work and I'm putting my little boy to sleep. I read him a bedtime story, tuck him in. As I'm about to leave his bedroom, I check my phone to see what time it is. I see there's a new email alert that popped up on my phone from my Gmail. It says it's from Robinhood. Weird. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I open the email and it says that there's an attempted login on my account from an IP address tracking to Rock River, Ohio. I've never been there. I don't even know where that is. I read the email some more and it says it was logged in from an iPhone 17. I don't use Apple products, so this definitely isn't me. It says that there's some info on my account that's been changed, and it's changed my phone number. Now, this is a common tactic that security breachers will use. A lot of them will use 2FA, which is two-factor authentication, right? So if you've ever tried to log into something and then once you put your username and password in, it then sends you a text message with a code, and then it wants you to input the code before it'll actually let you log in. That's two-factor authentication, right? It's verifying that not only do you have the username and the password, but you also have this second means of contact that is verifiable. So when these scammers will force their way into your account, what they'll often do is change one of those contacts, like a phone number, so that they can then intercept that security code, the text message. If they change the phone number to a phone number that they control, they can then intercept that text, and then they can get that 6-digit or 10-digit code, whatever, and put that in and successfully log in. All right, so here's what the email I got looked like. And you can see it looks pretty legit. It's even from Robinhood. Again, I like to consider myself somewhat scam savvy, right? I've got family members who are not. They'll fall for anything. After all, it's an email alert about a potential security breach. So heightened awareness. Everything on this email looks legit, okay? All the common tells for a phishing email, I'm checking. I'm looking at the sender's address. I'm looking at the recipient's address, misspellings. Everything seems pretty legit here. It's even got the right Robinhood logo and the little box around it. Now, thank God I stuck to my instincts and I didn't just follow the link directly from the email at first. Never just follow a link in an email, even if it looks pretty legit. Always check for those tells, right? The misspellings, the weird sender address. Is the recipient address weird? And this actually will come up in this case. I go to robinhood.com directly. I type it in, log in. I go to my notifications. It shows a notification every time I've logged into my account from my phone, from my laptop, wherever I am. It shows the date, the time, and the IP address, and what device is logging in. Now, this is exactly what was in that email, right? It said it was an iPhone 17, and the IP address was from Rock River, Ohio, right? So it logs every time I've logged in, or anyone's logged into my account. Here's the weird part. It doesn't show the login that the email was showing on Robinhood's actual site. There's no attempted login from an IP address from an iPhone, but it's in that email. So I go ahead and I do actually change my password on the Robinhood site, directly from the Robinhood site. And that's when I reach out to Robinhood support. I go over to my account, help, and then I go to contact us. And of course, it's a chat bot. Now, I later looked up if there's been any. I thought maybe it would be in the news or people would be on TikTok or YouTube, like making videos about this new scam attempt. The only thing that popped up was it was pissed consumer video where a guy was basically complaining about the customer service on Robinhood being non-existent, and he had gotten hacked. This was like 4 years ago. I think they posted this video. and he had reached out to Robinhood to try to get them to freeze his account before the scammer could, drain everything. And they basically just kept telling him, we'll give you a call back in 24 hours. And then they never actually did it. He finally got in contact with someone from Robinhood, and they basically just closed his account, and he lost all his money. I can confirm there, if you're on Robinhood and you're looking to get some actual support from a human, look somewhere else. So now I've changed my password on Robinhood. No money is missing. I go to my contact info. The email, right, said that they had changed the phone number. My phone number is still the one listed on the Robinhood site under my profile. So no one actually changed the phone number. And this is where I started to piece things together. What's really going on here? With some hesitation, I went ahead and I opened that email again. And I clicked one of the links just to see where it would bring me. And it brought me to this site. You can check it out. It looks pretty legit. Check the URL and make sure the URL address is actually legit. Well, if you look at this one, it says Robinhood in there, but there's something after that period before the .com, which actually changes the domain name. Also, I had just come off of the Robinhood website directly, robinhood.com, and I had changed my password. Now this is the link from the email to change the password, but it's a completely different web page. Now, a lot of these online tech companies, they'll have different ways to get you to a functional web page, but they don't have multiple web pages for the same function. So what do I mean by that? So to change your password, they might have different links in different places all over the website to bring you to the one web page to change your password, but they're not going to have multiple different web pages running to do the same thing, which is to switch your password. Why I have extra things that do the same thing. It's redundancy. A few other things I started noticing were on the email itself. I'm looking at the sender. Now the sender is actually legit. It actually is the Robinhood no reply email. And there's a reason for that, because it is actually a legit email. But if you look on the recipient, it has my email address, but there's a period, my email address name. So if you look at the recipient address, my email address, on the email that I was sent, there's a period in the middle of my username, my Gmail username. Now, Google Gmail will still direct an email to you, the correct email address, if there's a period in or a dot in the middle of your email address. Like Tiny URL, they used to let you condense a long URL into a shorter one by putting a dot, in there somewhere and abbreviating it. I'm not sure if that's what this is with Gmail, but they will still direct an email to your email address if there's a period in there. So the scammer actually used this to their advantage and created a new Robinhood account with my Gmail address, but with a dot in it. And then they purposely tried to hack that account that they created so that Robinhood's system would automatically generate a breach notification and send it to my email address. So very layers of scheming here. Pretty clever, I'll give it to them. They're pretty clever. And then this would initiate me to follow their link in that email, and then collect my username and password, and then they have full access to your account after that point, and I'm guessing they would drain it. I've put the link down to the Vulnerable You video by, his name's actually Matt Johansson. I put that in the link in the description. You can go watch that video. That's the only video I've seen so far about this Robinhood cyber attack that happened to me, so I assume it's happening to other people. I'm also linking the video from Pissed Consumer, and the guy who made a video on there. I don't think it's the guy's actual channel. I think they just it's like an aggregate channel for a lot of reviews of places, pissed off consumers. But I'm going to put the link to that video about Robinhood's service down there as well. Again, this isn't directly related to the cyber attack that just happened this past weekend with Robinhood. However, the guy is basically giving a testimony of Robinhood's customer service response. It was about 4 years ago when this guy's story took place, and I got a very similar kind of deal. You know, I get an AI chatbot, and even the AI chatbot didn't respond for at least a day, 2 days. And when I got the response, it was a very generic, if you'd like to freeze your account, this is how you do it, click this link. And then I got the confirmation that it was actually a phishing scam attempt from a notification, that kind of a blanket notification that went out to me. It's basically saying on Sunday, you know, you may have been the victim of an email. So that final notification I got on Tuesday. So Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday afternoon, I get that notification from Robinhood telling me that it was in fact a phishing attempt, and to disregard, don't click any of the links in the email. And that just tied it all together, confirmed for me. But it took 2.5 days to get that response after I initiated a support chat with their AI chatbot, which didn't even respond for at least 24 hours, which is pretty wild to me. Okay, so things to look out for. Is your name capitalized? This is something my wife actually caught looking at the email. She said, is your name usually capitalized? Like the first letter? She goes, did you capitalize it when you set up? I said, yeah, actually, I think I did. On the email from them, they put it in as all lowercase. So that was interesting. And leave it to my wife to find a little detail like that. Number 2, is there a period? Or in the recipient address, your email address, is there something weird? Is there a dot in there? Is it misspelled? Is there a capitalized letter where there's not usually a capitalized letter? Something like that. And then to verify, but don't click on any links in an email, even though it's a legit email from Robinhood. I would suggest opening a new tab on your browser, log into Robinhood, look at your notifications tab, and check. For me, there's a list of every login attempt, the device of that login attempt, and the IP address and location, date and time. Now, if your email is describing a login attempt from a specific IP address, location, date and time that isn't showing up on the actual website's list of attempted logins, there's probably something fishy. Okay, so my key takeaways here. Number 1, if you're a scammer, go fuck yourself. You know you're a scumbag. I do compliment your level of creativity with this particular scheme. The layers involved to have Robinhood generate a legitimate email to the users so that you can then backdoor collect their login info. That was pretty creative, I'll give that to you. But at the end of the day, you're still stealing people's hard-earned money, and you're a piece of shit. Takeaway number 2, of course, this just reinforced for me to be suspicious of everything online. If you come across even a legit email from a service that you're using, give it the side eye. You know, don't click any links directly in it. One thing that really popped out for me, I think that really put my spidey senses on edge, was the sense of urgency and the call to action, which are 2 things. Cybersecurity attacks will generally have a sense of urgency. So it was telling me, hey, someone logged into your account and they changed your phone number and do this, and it had the message was outlined in a red border. And then the call to action, change your password immediately, right? Follow this link. So when they're pushing you to do something urgently like that, it may be legitimate. It may be a legit thing, but when I get that push, when they're telling me to do something urgently, I always have a resistance to that. Maybe it's just my personality. I don't like doing what I'm told, never have. But in this particular case, that may have actually ended up saving me most of my savings. So maybe it's a good thing after all. So third key takeaway for me is exactly what was outlined in that video by Pissed Consumer. The guy was describing, and this was 4 years ago that this video was posted, he was describing just a lack of customer service from Robinhood. It really cemented for me with this whole experience. Basically, you're on your own with this stuff with Robinhood. Don't expect a lot of support, and if you're expecting any support, you're definitely not getting it in a timely manner. There was almost no support to rely on for me with this in this platform if something goes wrong, in which case that it did. Thank God it didn't go as wrong as it could have. The gentleman in that video describes he lost everything. He lost his money, and he was pleading with the customer service to please freeze his account, because he knew he'd been, his credentials had been compromised, and they said, we'll call you back in 24 hours, which is more than enough time for the hacker to do what they needed to do. Robinhood really is not the same as like having in the old days, 25, 30 years ago, if you wanted to invest, if you wanted to buy, trade stocks, you'd have a broker you'd go through, and the broker was kind of in charge of managing your money and your investments and all of that. And there was an inherent sharing of risk and security, right? With platforms like Robinhood, and I assume others, Webull or Coinbase, if you're into crypto, the security really it's coming down to you at the end of the day. They'll encrypt things, and they'll secure your passwords and all that, but as far as not allowing your password to be compromised, that security comes down to you. For me, in my head, the way I'm thinking of it is, this is basically, this isn't like having a local bank where they have a vault and you keep your assets, your money in that big vault, and they lock it and they take care of it, and you have that security knowing that they're going to take care of it for you. This is kind of like the digital version of having a little like a fire safe in your house, and you're putting your assets into this safe. It's still your responsibility to make sure that the safe doesn't get stolen or it doesn't get broken into while it's in your house. Like you're still having to look out for that safe. The assets inside might be secured, but you still need to make sure that the actual safe itself is safe, right? So that's the way I'm going to treat my Robinhood account moving forward, is just kind of know that I'm pretty much on my own. Well, I hope this gets out there. I hope this helps somebody. If it does, comment down below. I noticed in the video with Vulnerable You, Mr. Johansson's video, they actually, the screenshot of the email he put up, they actually had the exact same iPhone 17, and I think they changed the phone number. The last 2 digits of the phone number that were changed were the same as in my email. That's definitely something to look out for. If you get hit with this, keep an eye out for that. Comment if it's still the same IP address and phone number that they're changing it to from an iPhone 17, and let me know. For everybody, All right, guys, knowledge is power. Be mighty.